All right, what's up, YouTube? This is BoxingWave. This is gonna be my second video on this fight. All right, I actually did a breakdown, one breakdown video on this fight a couple months back when the rumors started circulating about them fighting each other. Okay, in January. All right, we obviously they're not fighting in January. They're fighting March 12th in Connecticut, Mohegan Sun. But I actually did a video back in November or whatever where the reason why I did that video and I did it the way that I did it was because when the rumors started going out there that they were fighting, a lot of people were saying easy fight for Thurman, easy fight for Thurman. Not really. I didn't really see anybody say anything about Shawn Porter winning the fight. All right, and I just felt like people were completely counting him out. All right, and I made that video because I wanted to make a good case for Shawn Porter. Okay. So that video was more leaning towards Shawn Porter, okay? I'm probably going to make more videos on this fight because a lot of people are anticipating this fight. It's a big PBC fight. You know, it's a fight that the fans have wanted because everybody that, was following the welterweight division, they always wanted to see, who was the best between Thurman, Brook, and Porter. We got Brook and Porter, and, Keith Thurman still didn't fight neither one of those guys, all right? So a lot of people are looking for this fight. Now, today I was watching, I'm on my YouTube feed, and if you've been on YouTube the last few days or you follow a lot of boxing channels, you will see that Thurman probably gave like 100 interviews this weekend. Like, for everyone that said Thurman was in hiding and he was ducking Shawn Porter, which he might have been, I don't know. Nobody knows why Keith Thurman was really out of the loop. He wasn't showing up at fights. He wasn't doing any interviews. People just could not find this dude. And out of nowhere now that he did the commentary this weekend for the Garcia and Guerrero fight, he's given so many interviews for this fight. They already had a presser, and all I'm seeing is Keith Thurman's face as I scroll down my YouTube feed. Nothing but Keith Thurman interviews, okay? So ES News, I see a video on ES News a little earlier this afternoon saying with Keith Thurman, and Keith Thurman is saying, when have you seen me tie up? The only thing I tie up is my shoes. And that is the one single thing that I'm worried about Keith Thurman in this fight. Because like I said in my other video, and I'm going to leave the link to that in the description. If you want to see my first breakdown of that, check that out. Because I try to build a case for Shawn Porter in that video. But Keith Thurman does not like to tie up, okay? He likes to use his legs. He does not like tying up. And what we saw in the Louis Collazo fight was we actually seen him in trouble. He got hit with a body shot. It hurt. And instead of tying up, he started to move. He started to run. He even started to run, And Louis Collazo was following him. And he did nothing but keep throwing those big body shots. And Keith Thurman, not only could he not defend them, but he did not tie up. And he kept trying to escape by running. Okay? And I don't know if it's an ego thing with him. I don't know. He said in this fight he's not going to do what Kell Brook did. Okay? Kell Brook, Adrian Broner, two guys that fought Shawn Porter but did two totally different things. Kell Brook did a lot of tying up. He locked up Shawn Porter and his arms up a lot. He held them because Shawn Porter is a wild man. The guy is not a precise puncher, okay? He doesn't really sit down on his punches well. The guy smothers himself, and he's all over you. He's wrestling. He's tying you up and hitting you with that free arm. He doesn't do punches. He doesn't really throw punches that really impresses the judges or the fans. Okay? But Kell Brook did a lot of tying up. Adrian Broner, he did something else. Adrian Broner did a lot of things that you might see Klitschko and Floyd do. Adrian Broner was using that forearm and pushing Kell Brook's face away. Pushing Kell Brooks. Who was he fighting? He's Shawn Porter. Adrian Broner was using his forearms a lot, all right, to create space and to annoy Shawn Porter. He kept using his forearms, and Tony Weeks really wasn't warning him like that. And then, whenever Shawn Porter was low, holding on to him, Adrian Broner was doing a Klitschko lean. Like, he was leaning down on top or the back of Shawn Porter's head, whereas Kell Brook was kind of like they were both using something to control Shawn Porter. They were doing something to control him, whereas Keith Thurman is not going to have that. When Keith Thurman is backed into a corner, he usually either try to use his legs to slither out of there to get out of the way, or he'll bang with you. You know, I mean, even sometimes when Thurman is being pressed and he's backing up, still swinging, the guy just doesn't want to stop swinging. You know, he either uses legs and tries to slip out of, you know, certain areas, or he's just going to keep swinging. And I don't know if that's going to be good for fighting Shawn Porter. Like I said, I think Keith Thurman has every advantage, you know. I think the skills, the technique, the counterpunching, the power, you know, it's just he's more technically sound than Shawn Porter. He has almost every advantage, yet Shawn Porter's style might be a problem with Keith Thurman because Keith Thurman just does not want to tie up or hold or do anything other than he's in love with his power. And I feel like this could be a problem, an issue for Keith Thurman, you know, because Shawn Porter is going to smother you, bro. He's going to smother you. He's not just smothering his own punches. He's going to smother you too. And when you're too close and there's no space in between you, you're not going to be able to throw anything clean. You're not going to be able to throw anything good. Your power, you're not going to be able to sit down on your punches. You're not going to have any space to throw anything hard as Shawn Porter. And Shawn Porter is used to fighting that way. Shawn Porter is used to making it a rough physical fight. And Keith Thurman is not. I haven't seen Keith Thurman that way. You know, I don't know. I know Keith Thurman is a big puncher. But I don't know if Keith Thurman is physically strong. You get what I'm saying? You know, these other guys have fought Shawn, guys that fought Marcus Maidana, guys that fought like really strong physical fighters like that. They know how to control them. They knew even Floyd. Floyd might not be the biggest puncher, but he is physically strong, where he was able to not get bullied by guys that are bullies, that were able to push them against the ropes. You know, he would know how to know when to lock them up and control them in some way, like Kell Brook did and Adrian Broner did against Shawn Porter. It wasn't effective for Broner because Broner is too much of a pop shotter. Broner lost the fight like I predicted because Broner just does not throw enough. He was landing clean counters throughout the fight. He was timing Shawn Porter well, but he wasn't doing enough. Whereas Porter was working throughout the whole round. Whereas Broner was landing 2 good shots every round, and they just wasn't giving him the rounds. You know, it finally worked out for him at the end because he did knock down Shawn Porter, but it was at the end of the fight. You know, it was the 12th round. You know, Shawn Porter had already been winning all of these rounds. You know, so with Keith Thurman, you know, I still think Keith Thurman is going to win the fight because Keith Thurman is still going to have to, he's going to gain Porter's respect from the power, you know. I'm sure Kell Brook probably punches harder than Broner, you know. I mean, the guy's fighting a bigger guy. He's fighting at 147, and he's stopping guys at one. I mean, even when Brook fought Porter, he hurt Porter a few times, you know, where he wobbled him a little bit, you know. I don't know who's a bigger puncher between Thurman or Brook. I mean, if I had to put my money on it, I would probably say Thurman, but nobody really knows. You know, we just know they both hit pretty hard at welterweight. But I don't think Porter is still going to have enough respect for Keith Thurman to not want to get clipped, you know. But at the same time, it's like Porter is going to be coming inside, and he's going to start going to that body. And if Keith Thurman thinks he could just rely on his legs, if a guy is coming at your body all the time and digging to the body, it's going to catch up to you. You're not going to be able to move. Okay, you're not going to be as mobile as you normally are. And I think that might take a toll on Keith Thurman in the later rounds because Porter keeps working. You know, I was thinking about going to this fight. Now I'm gonna end the video with this too, because I don't want to make videos too long. Because I'm gonna make more videos on this fight. I want to see the reaction of you guys and everything. I want to keep making it this long. I'll do another breakdown video if I have to. But I was thinking about going to the fight because the fight is on my dad's birthday, and Mohegan's son is it's driving distance from New York. It's far, but it's driving distance, and I'm thinking about going to the fight, and I want to get some good tickets. If I go over my father, get a couple good tickets. They're gonna be expensive, but get some nice tickets, and probably get a room, stay for the weekend, whatever. And I thought about it. I'm like, man, that's a $2,000 weekend. Because Mohegan's son is not cheap. Mohegan's son is, the price of Mohegan's son is like staying at a top of the line place in Vegas. It's not like staying at a decent place. It's like staying at the top of the line place in Vegas on a weekend, especially on a fight weekend. So I'm thinking about I was thinking about the fight, and I'm like, man, I don't want to get tickets to this fight and it end up not being a good fight because it's too much holding going on. It's too much smothering wrestling. I didn't like, as much as we liked the Broner and we wanted to see Broner and Shawn Porter when we found out that they were going to fight. The fight really wasn't that good of a fight because it was an ugly fight. And then so was Porter and Kell Brook. It was an ugly fight. Excuse me. I'm more interested in seeing Porter or Kell Brook against Keith Thurman because I don't enjoy watching Shawn Porter. That's just me being real. I respect him to death. Really classy guy, and the guy stays in the gym, the guy stays in shape, but I don't enjoy his fighting, his way of fighting. And I'm like, damn, I mean, you just don't know with this fight. You just don't know how it's going to go because Keith Thurman is definitely the better boxer, the bigger puncher. But if this guy is going to be smothering him all fight, it's hard to call it because what is Keith Thurman going to do when he can't land that one big shot that he's used to landing against guys, And I think he has the ability to time Porter and hit him with some good shots. And like I told you, I think he's still going to win the fight. If I'm going to put my money up, I will put it up on Keith Thurman. But Shawn Porter has a chance of beating a guy that don't think he has to tie up against him. That is a bad sign for me to hear that from Keith Thurman because if things don't work in your favor and the guy is all over you, you're going to have to do something to control him outside of landing a big punch. It's not going to work out all the time. All right, so let me know what you guys get. I'm going to stop it right there. Let me know what you guys think on this fight. As time goes on, I'll probably make other videos because there's a lot of people like this fight. A lot of people love this fight. A lot of people always wanted to see this fight, and as far as the welterweight, the newer welterweights, this is one of the bigger fights that could be made in the division. But fights like Thurman against Bradley or Thurman against Brook, those are better fights to me. Those are better fights to me because Shawn Porter is just a wild, wild man. So all right, let me know. I'm stopping it right there. Make sure you guys subscribe.